Welcome to Shujin Academy VGM Club. I'm Professor Tom, your faculty sponsor. Today's opening track is Serenity, an arrangement of the main theme of Final Fantasy VII from VGM legend Mustin. It appears on his compilation of arrangements of Squaresoft game tracks called The World is Square, and it also appears on the overclocked remix album Final Fantasy VII, Voices of the Lifestream. As I mentioned last time, Overclocked Remix is a fan site devoted to making remixes of video game music that's been around for 27 years. You can go to ocremix.org and check out literally thousands of song remixes, alongside dozens of albums devoted to several themes, ranging from individual games to specific musical styles to character archetypes. And on the subject of those albums, today's show is the second part of a two-part series covering OC Remix albums devoted to individual Final Fantasy games. I covered the albums for Final Fantasy II, IV, 5, and 6 on the last episode, and today's episode is an overview of the albums for Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9, and also the original Final Fantasy. Just like before, every song you'll hear today was originally composed by the great Nobuo Uematsu. Starting things off, we're going to hear some songs from Final Fantasy 7, Voices of the Lifestream. Released in September 2007, it's one of the first 10 OC Remix albums, and the first one devoted exclusively to a Final Fantasy title. Thinking about it, I can see how this game got a big compilation album so early. It is difficult to overstate how big of a deal Final Fantasy VII was when it was released in fall of 1997, and the Venn diagram between people on OC Remix in the mid-2000s and people who were influenced by Final Fantasy VII as an impressionable young gamer looks like a circle that's almost entirely inside another, significantly larger circle. FF7 is the game that cemented JRPGs as a mainstream genre in the Western market, carried by a huge marketing push. I was an impressionable young person back then, and so were a lot of these remixers. FF7 is one of the top 3 games on OC Remix to this day. And not to get too far into politics here, but I should also mention that Final Fantasy VII is a game where the heroes are a bunch of eco-terrorists fighting an evil fascist corporation/government that is literally destroying the planet. Even though it's almost 30 years old, it's more relevant than ever. Anyway, just like the compilations that followed, Voices of the Lifestream incorporates a variety of styles, and the 3 songs we've got in our first music block will cover a few of them. We'll start off with the oppressive electronic sounds of No Such Thing as the Promised Land, which is a remix of Mako Reactor, and which has my favorite title out of all the songs featured in this series, and that might explain why I spend so much time talking to my therapist. The remixers here are Sephire and SGX. SGX has done some work in the world of EDM, while Sephire is better known for his work outside the world of music as famous animator and gaming YouTuber Dan Floyd. Changing up styles, the second track is The Crossroads, which is a rap metal remix of Sid's theme that incorporates the correct amount of attitude for the grumpiest party member of the game. This song comes from Jovet Rivera, who's a good-looking guy that seems to have found a career in the Japanese pop music scene. Closing out the block, we've got Hydrophone Breakdown, a remix of Secret of the Deep Sea. I gotta be honest here, I had genre descriptions for the other songs in this block, but this one goes to a lot of different places that range from gentle to cacophonous, and that willingness to get out there is what earned it a place on today's playlist. The remixer here is Jiggin' John T, who's also known as professional musician John Titterington. Alright everyone, let's mosey.
each and every day is the same. Life is what you learn, you learn and you turn around and you will see what has become of you. Your visions of immortality, love, as you run the crossroads of what to choose.
Those songs were remixes from Final Fantasy VII, and they were No Such Thing as the Promised Land, a remix of Mako Reactor with a banger title from Sephire and SGX, The Crossroads, a remix of Sid's theme from Hovette Rivera, and Hydrophone Breakdown, a remix of Secret of the Deep Sea from Jigen John T. For our second segment, we go from the oldest OC Remix Final Fantasy compilation to the most recent one with Final Fantasy VIII, Seeds of Pandora. It was released in May of 2023, nearly 16 years after the FF7 remix album, and it clocks in at well over 5 hours, which probably makes it the longest of the FF remix albums. Final Fantasy VIII is frequently touted as the best of Uematsu's soundtracks, which may explain why there are so many songs here. I'm always fond of jazz arrangements of VGM, and we'll start off our second block with a really good one. The song is called Night Shift, and it has a great opening that's an homage to Miles Davis's Bitches Brew, although it's more of a cool jazz arrangement that gets a little weird in places, as opposed to 26 minutes of experimental madness. The original track for this one is Jailed, which is a lonely and oppressive track, and I like how this one is a little less desolate. Our remixer here is the mysterious DJ Orange, who has virtually no socialist media presence of note, and they're aided on woodwinds by Gamer of the Winds, who's a session musician outside of his work in the world of VGM fandom. The second song in the second block is called Longing for the Horizon, and it's a very faithful arrangement of Blue Fields, the overworld theme for Final Fantasy VIII. This version brings the original song's melancholy to the forefront, and I respect that choice a lot. Sometimes you just need to sit with your sadness instead of trying to hide from it. Zach Parrish is the remixer here, and outside of remixing, he's also done soundtracks for the Sakura franchise of adult visual novels. Also featured on this track are musicians Ian Martin, Kestrel Girl, and E. Jesus Chick Acevedo, and there are links for all of them in the show notes. For a significantly less faithful arrangement, we'll end the block with A Wounded Spy, which is a combination arrangement of The Spy and also Wounded, and remixer Violent takes these two songs and turns them into a synthwave vocal track glowing with purple neon. Hopefully Martyrus from fellow game music podcast REVGM is listening, because this kind of thing is definitely his bag. These songs are the best looking guy here. Let's check them out.
Thank you.
Those songs were remixes from Final Fantasy VIII, and they were Night Shift, a remix of Jailed from DJ Orange featuring Gamer of the Winds, Longing for the Horizon, a remix of Blue Fields from Zach Parrish with Ian Martin, Kestrel Girl, and E. Jesus Chick Acevedo, and also A Wounded Spy, a remix of The Spy, and also a remix of Wounded, smooshed together by Violent. It's time for a word from our sponsor. Our planet needs power. We all know that our planet needs power. Power to light your home, power to do your work, and power to fuel the AI models we use to monitor your life. Power for the AI we use to track your every move. Power to make sure you obey us. And what's the best source of power? It's the Mako energy that permeates the Lifestream. Here at Shinra Electric Power Company, we use Mako to enrich our lives. Whether it's creating super soldiers by infusing Mako into human cells, or silencing dangerous subversives who want to destroy our way of life, or keeping all that human trash in the slums where it belongs, Shinra never stops using Mako to make our world better for us. Shinra Electric Power Company, always using our power to improve our world. Now back to the show. For the penultimate remix album on today's show, we'll be hearing from Final Fantasy IX, Worlds Apart. It was released in September 2015, and it's about 4.5 hours of remixes from my third favorite Final Fantasy game, and the game that gave us a completely broken Magic the Gathering card. Just like all the other albums, it's got a variety of styles, but the tracks I'm featuring here are actually a little more sonically cohesive than some of the other blocks I've done on these two episodes. It's certainly more cohesive than the Final Fantasy VI block I did last time. Appropriately enough, the block starts off with the first song on the record. It's named Maguo's Knife Party, and it's a remix of the game's overworld theme. This is a really fun electronic remix that moves the original in a much peppier direction, and it's one of those great arrangements that's both faithful to the original, but also very distinct. Remixer Benjamin Briggs here has done quite a few songs for OC Remix. Not only is he on the FF9 album, he's credited on 16 other OC Remix collections. The second song here is called Vamo a la Django, an adaptation of Valo a la Flamenco, which is the theme for the Chocobo Hot and Cold digging minigame, and just like the original, it's driven by acoustic guitar. It's also just as jaunty as the original, although it's more folk music flavored than the Spanish guitar found on the game track. Remixers Andy P. and Fishy and also Dan Bryant all play together on this one, and it is all guitars all the time. For the last song in the block, we're going to hear the beautiful Biblioteca, Dreamer in the Library, from Kate Covington, also known as Kate the Great 19, featuring lyrics in Latin from Chailey. The original song here is Daguerreo, the Hermit's Library, and I actually prefer the arranged version here to the original, which is quite the accomplishment from Miss Covington. Sadly, she's mostly stopped posting music online in the last few years due to health issues, but if you want to hear more like this, I have linked her website in the show notes. All these songs came in the mail from Mognet, so let's listen now. Those songs were remixes from Final Fantasy IX, and they were Magwo's Knife Party, a remix of Over the Hill from Benjamin Briggs, Vamo a la Django, a remix of Valo a la Flamenco from Andy P. and Fishy featuring Dan Bryant, and Biblioteca, Dreamer in the Library, a remix of Daguerreo the Hermit's Library from Kate the Great 19, with lyrics from Chaley. Up until now, I've gone through the OC remix albums for Final Fantasy games in the order the games were released, but we're going to move a little bit backwards for the last block here and talk about Final Fantasy Random Encounter, which is the OC remix album that's all full of songs from the very first Final Fantasy game. Why didn't I cover it last time? Well, I wanted to have that episode cover all 3 of the Super Nintendo Final Fantasy games, and I wanted to have this episode cover all 3 of the PlayStation Final Fantasy games, and so both playlists got built around that. If you hit me up with complaints on social media, I'll gladly refund you the money you paid for this episode. Final Fantasy Random Encounter was released in June of 2012. This is a very metal-forward album, although only one of the 3 tracks I'm featuring is a pure metal song, and it's the first one in the block. It's called The Beginning of a Legacy, and it's a remix of Battle Scene, which is the song you hear during combat. This song comes from the Dual Dragons, the name for 2 Norwegians who are brothers bonded by heavy metal, and also brothers bonded by having the same parents. They're joined here by Brandon Strader, who you heard on the last episode. Speaking of Brandon Strader, he's the lead remixer for the second song here. I'm reminded of the old Simpsons episode where they visit Branson, Missouri, and there are dual marquees, one saying, Andy Williams presents Glenn Campbell, and then another immediately following saying, Glenn Campbell presents Andy Williams. I'll even put a link to that clip in the show notes. Back to the matter at hand, Mr. Strader is a professional musician and recording engineer, and if his other OC remixes are any indication, he's also quite fond of Nicolas Cage. The song here is The Crumbling Facade, and it's a remix of the theme for Cornelia Castle, the game's starting point. This song is much more electronic than most of Strader's remixes, and it's always cool to hear someone branch out and try something different. Maybe some of the credit there goes to assistant remixer Halk. To finish everything up, we'll be hearing If I Could Sail the World, which is a remix of the theme for the party's sailing ship that takes them around until they have the much more capable airship. The original song is quite upbeat and captures the feeling of having the freedom to explore the world, while this remix slows things down and uses piano and electric guitar to capture some of the potential you feel when you look out and see nothing but ocean in every direction. Remixers Theo Confidor and Eric Golub here have no discernible web presence, so I'm going to assume that they crafted this song and then moved into the woods near Point Pleasant, West Virginia to learn wisdom and other life lessons at the feet of the Mothman. After a long journey, 3 remixes arrive, each holding an orb. Those songs were remixes from the original Final Fantasy, and they were The Beginning of a Legacy, a remix of Battle Scene from the Dual Dragons featuring Brandon Strader, The Crumbling Facade, a remix of The Ruined Castle from Brandon Strader featuring Halk, and finally, If I Could Sail the World, a remix of Ship from Mothman disciples Theo Confidor and Eric Golub. That's the show. If you want to reach me, I'm most active on Blue Sky as shujinacademy.bsky.social. You can also find me on Threads, Facebook, and Instagram as Shujin Academy VGM Club. Episodes of the show are posted to my YouTube channel, which you can find by searching for Shujin Academy VGM Club. Other links are on my linktree at linktr.ee/Shujin Academy. Please leave me a 5-star rating on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you're finding this episode. New episodes are released once or twice a month, depending on how often I get them done, and they premiere on Thursday mornings on your favorite podcatcher and on 8beats.co, the internet's #1 game music radio station. My show is also featured on TerraPlayer, the cool app that's a destination for gaming podcasts and other content, so you can check me out there. Finally, if you just can't get enough of me, I also voice esports reporter Samson Escapades on audio drama podcast How Much in Bison Dollars, which you can find on FGC Radio and Patreon and most podcatchers. And I recently appeared on fellow VGM podcast CRT Sound System, and I completely forgot to mention that on the last episode, so here I am bringing it up now. There is a link for it in the show notes. Special thanks for this episode goes out to fellow VGM podcaster Jameson of Bar Silence Podcast for contributing cover art. You can and should find Bar Silence wherever you download podcasts, and check out his website at barsilence.com. Thanks also goes out to the various musicians, remixers, and arrangers for all these OC remix albums. The show notes include links for all the featured artists, and download links for each of the albums we have sampled today. I've got one more song to play us out, and it's from yet another Final Fantasy OC remix album. The album here is called Audio Engineering, a tribute to Cid, and it's full of songs about various incarnations of Cid, who appears in all the Final Fantasy games and who is often associated with an airship in some way, shape, or form. The song here is Al Bhed Ek VIII, and it's a remix of We Are Al Bhed from Final Fantasy X, arranged into existence by Theory of N. Thank you for listening. I'm Professor Tom, and I'll see you next time on Shujin Academy VGM Club.